Yeah, because I think that's one thing, isn't it? When you're 18, you think you know what life's about, but you don't have a clue,
no
do you?
way. I actually knew that I didn't know as well. I was like, I need to know.
I thought I knew. And I remember my dad dropping me off and leaving me in my little apartment, my little bedroom, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do I do now? Just sat there, just like... Right, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Chatzzz. I think my voice just broke there. So episode number 19, I cannot believe we're on episode number 19. That's absolutely crazy. So that means 38 weeks of the podcast I've been running it. And today we've got another female guest. My voice is breaking all the time, honestly. Another female guest. They're hard to come by. We've got Alex here.
Hello, everybody.
So I think, when did I message you? Literally like last week or something like that?
Yeah,
2 weeks ago?
Last week, I think, yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, messaged Alex to come on the podcast, and you very weak. And then we booked in today. Here we are in the lovely home.
Yeah, in my home.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen.
So I've prepped her. Everyone always finds the 3 facts to be the hardest thing.
Honestly, I've never felt so uninterested in my life, trying to find fun facts about myself. But anyway,
here we are.
With it.
So what we need to do first is, I literally told you 2 minutes ago, is you need to introduce yourself to the viewers. So if you were to meet somebody new for the first time in whatever situation you'd be, so how would you introduce yourself?
How would I introduce myself? Hi, I'm Alex. I'm 20 years old and I'm from the Lake District.
Yeah, that's cool. So Alex, 20 from the Lake District. And now we're going to go into the 3 facts. So what are your 3 facts you've got long and hard?
One of my facts was that I'm 20. Mm-hmm. So that one's already gone out the window. I own and run 2 successful businesses, and I am a university dropout.
Interesting. So we'll start with the first one then. So 20 years old.
Yeah.
Do you think that being 20 years old, obviously having businesses, has like an impact on what you do or how people maybe treat you?
I think it was a worry to begin with, but... you know, like not being taken seriously and stuff. Like I set up my first business when I was 18. Like you're very young. Mm-hmm. So it's difficult to...
Got a special guest.
The dog's just come in. That's fun. Yeah, so it was a worry, but actually no, I think as long as you are confident in yourself and you treat yourself and you take yourself seriously, then other people sort of reciprocate that. So it's not really an issue, but yeah, it's always in the back of my mind. Like you need to stay very professional and stuff if you want people to treat you like that. So yeah.
I think, for me, when I was 20, I was still at uni. So that's like 6 years ago for me now. So it's crazy. A lot can change in like 6 years. So I think it's cool that, there we go. There we go. Got anything to say? But yeah, 20, like 18, setting your own thing. That's so cool, I think. Yeah. It is very, very cool.
Yeah, thank you.
The second one is 2 businesses. So maybe just say what they are and then we'll go into them a bit more in detail later on.
Yeah, so my first business that I set up is called Alex Serves Sushi, and it's like a sushi takeaway business. And yeah, I did that full time for like a year, and then now I do sports massage therapy full time. So that's my business I do now.
And you had a cool event last night, didn't you, for the sushi?
Yeah, cool event in the New Crown Inn in Bolton. Lovely little pub. So yeah, I did a little event there, little pop-up night with the sushi yesterday. So that was really good. Freddie's going to wreck all of the wires and stuff we put up now.
And then the third fact was... What was the third fact? University dropout.
Yeah.
This is a cool one, I think, as well, because, say for me, I went to uni, did 4 years. Mm-hmm. So I did like a 1 year, freshers year.
Yeah.
Did a placement like in industry and then did my finals.
Yeah.
3rd and 4th. But like even for me going through uni, I thought loads of times about dropping out. But I always thought like, oh, I'll just finish uni and get the degree or whatever.
Yeah, get the thing on paper.
Yeah,
massively.
Just have that. So what was kind of like the thought process of you dropping out then?
So I always wanted to go to uni. There was like no doubt in my mind that I wanted to do it. I went to study sports science at Bath, and yeah, basically all through school, like that's what I was striving to do. When I did my A-levels, like that's what I wanted to do. That's what I worked hard for. And then I got there, and to be fair, I went in 2020. So in like the middle of COVID, everything was online. I was doing a science degree. So you're supposed to have like practicals, labs, all of that sort of stuff. None of that happened. So it was a very different experience to what like probably your experience was, or a lot of other people. But yeah, it basically just wasn't for me. I enjoyed the degree. I didn't enjoy the life. I'm not like a crazy, like going out every night kind of person. And I think that became like way more apparent when I went to uni. Because like when you're 17, 18, you don't really know that that's who you want to be, because you've not really experienced that yet. Well, I hadn't anyway. Like I hadn't been out going crazy when I was 17, 18. So I went to uni and suddenly like everyone's drinking every night and you're like feeling pressure to do stuff. And I love socializing, but I really do think that I have a social battery and it runs out. And I also really enjoy my own company. So I have to have a balance of that. And at uni, I just couldn't find a balance. So I think that played a massive part. But yeah, and also I'd got my first taste of like having a bit of money and working, and then you go to uni and you're like in debt all the time. And that just didn't sit well with me. So I think it was like multiple different things, but yeah, it just wasn't for me.
I think it sounds like you obviously went for the right reasons, and you dropped out for the right reasons as well, didn't you? A lot of people, I think maybe when I went, a lot of people would just go because it was just the norm and they were just pressures from school, and they just go through it, even similar to maybe what I did, just go through it just so you say, oh, I've got a degree now or whatever. But I'd imagine a lot of people don't have maybe as much going on as you did to say drop out and then fall into that kind of thing. Yeah,
and to be fair, by the time I dropped out, I'd actually carried on doing my degree. I left uni, but carried on doing my degree from home because it was all online. So I basically left, I was down in Bath. So I left Bath, came back here, carried on with everything online, and then sort of slowly built up the sushi business alongside. And I did it alongside each other for a long time. And then it got to the point where the sushi was taking off and uni was just dropping down my priority list. And I wasn't putting much effort in, and that's not like me. Like I love putting 100% into anything that I do. So yeah, I basically just sat down with myself and had a really big think about what I wanted. And I was so unhappy at the time as well. Like I really did not like it. So I was very lucky that I had something to fall into. Definitely. I think that's the main reason why people in my situation don't drop out, because they've got nothing to fall back into, and the only thing they can think of is going home and getting a job in a supermarket or whatever, which is like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not ideal. So yeah, I was very lucky, and I was also really lucky that like I have an amazing family and friends and support network who all accepted like any of my decisions, just want me to be happy. I think that's a massive thing as well, because the pressure doesn't only come from schools and friends, and or if all your friends going to uni, but also your parents. Like they might think, massive, actually, I think you should go get a degree. But yeah, it's not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone.
Definitely not. So let's go back to what we do with everyone, is go back to like a little Alex, maybe when you were like growing up, like your first memory and stuff.
Little Alex.
what were you like growing up? Like maybe throughout like primary school or that kind of age?
Yeah, so
single digit age numbers.
Oh, you know what? It's so crazy. You don't remember that much from when you were that young. But I was quite driven, like just from a young age. I always wanted to be the best at everything. Especially when it came to like me and my brother. We were so competitive.
So younger or older?
I have an older brother, so I'm the youngest. So it wasn't like a fact that I was always in his shadow, but I just always wanted to be better than him. Like when I was younger, I used to play all the boys' sports just so I could be better than him. I was a proper little tomboy. I used to just like follow him around. He probably hated me. I was following him around like a lost puppy and then beating him at everything. He's like, can this girl like go away? But yeah, that was me when I was younger. I always tried really hard in school. I was a bit of a nerd. I was like, just really enjoyed, I mean, I don't know, did I enjoy working hard? I don't know, but I wanted to do the best. And I was lucky enough to go to private school. So I was boarding. So I actually left home when I was 9. Oh, really? I started boarding, So I literally begged my parents to go. My brother went. He's super, super academic, like really clever. So they, in the back of their minds, were sort of thinking like private school's a really good avenue for him to go down to sort of like unleash his potential. And then when he went, I was like, I'm going. I'm going to follow him there as well. So I went when I was 9. So then it was kind of the fact that my parents were obviously putting a lot into our education. So I wanted to give them a lot back as well. So there's that factor as well. But yeah, I worked really hard in school and I was a good student. So
would you say you preferred like the academic side, or would you like the extracurricular activities like the sports and stuff? Or
I think a bit of both. I think to have one well for me, you have to have the other. So I would only do well in school if I knew that I was going to go out on the hockey pitch or the running track or something afterwards. Or, you know, exercise for me at school was a massive like clearing your head sort of activity. And also just to focus on something else. So yeah, I was lucky enough to like be okay at sport, and I did a lot of it at school. So yeah, I think my academics thrived because of that, having both. Yeah.
Kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, definitely. For me anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So when you wanted to go to boarding school, which boarding school did you go to?
I went to Modenhall when I was 9, and then when I was 12 or 13, I went to Sedbergh.
Oh yeah, cool. I had a couple of friends who went to Sedbergh, to be fair, yeah. So how did you find the transition? I'm 9 years old. I could never imagine like moving away from home at 9.
Yeah.
So how was that for you?
I did get homesick.
Yeah.
But everyone did. And I think everyone's sort of in the same position. I was over, so Modenhall's near Newcastle, near Corbridge. So a lot of the students were from over there. Like it was maybe me and one other person who was from the lakes. Okay. And that's a good hour and 45-minute drive. So for me, I did feel a little bit like homesick every now and then, but my parents made a massive effort to come up and see me as much as they could, which really helped. And like if we ever in hockey fixtures or something like that, they'd always be on the pitch side. They've always supported me. So that made it a lot easier. But yeah, you do get homesick, and you think, you know, it is hard going into that world when you're so young. But equally, you go when you're 9 years old and you're like living with all your friends. What could be better? You're in a room like with 9 other girls having a sleepover every night. Like it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened. So there was that element of it as well that was really fun. So, and you do make friends for life in that environment. You live with the people that you go to school with and you do sport with and you go to sleep with. Like it's everything. So yeah, it was amazing, really.
Yeah, that's really, really cool because I just went to normal schools, should I say, to like 11. I went to private school, but I didn't go to boarding school. I went to Austin Priors in Carlisle. But a few of my friends, they went to Sedbergh. And it's just, for me, it just be like a massive lifestyle change. But I suppose you acclimatise yourself, don't you, very, very quickly. So
because really... I had my brother there as well, you kind of have like a slice of home with you, which helped. Yeah. Even though he was like, get off my back.
Go away.
But I was still like, no, it's great that you and I are both here.
So how did you find school then? Did you find it like easy or hard, difficult?
Not easy, not difficult. I don't know. I really enjoyed, I think when I went to Sedbergh, that's when my life really changed in terms of like figuring out who I was and like enjoying school a bit more, because there they pick up on your strengths and like run with them, because it's quite a small boarding school in comparison to like a lot of the ones down south, which is where my brother went. Yeah, it's a lot more personal and they do really push you to be the best you can. And if you take that as well, it's a give and take thing. If you take what they're offering, you can do amazing things. So I did enjoy school. I really enjoyed senior school. But yeah, I had to work hard. I wouldn't say I'm naturally clever or like naturally academic, but there's definitely potential there. But I'd be that person who's like up studying until 10 o'clock the night before an exam and stuff like that, because I want to do well, but it doesn't necessarily come really naturally to me. So yeah, that was me through school, really.
And then what kind of person were you then? Were you like the one who was always like instigating the fun, like maybe centre of attention, or were you a bit more reserved? And you said about like the social battery and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say I was quite
Where did you kind of
reserved.
like fit in then in like the friendship group? Or would you say?
So I had a lot of friends from sort of different groups, if you know, like in a boarding school environment, naturally there are groups of people. And there was 3 different girl boarding houses at the school that I went to. So you naturally socialise more with the girls in your boarding house because they're the people that you sort of live with. But I had a lot of friends, a lot of guy friends as well. And I found it really easy to get on with the boys as well. And yeah, socialising with them was great. So I don't know, in my friendship group, everyone knew who I was and everyone knew me. So they knew like that if I'd had enough, I'd just take myself off for a run, or I'd walk up a hill on my own, and people wouldn't find that weird. They'd be like, oh, Alex has gone off for a run on her own. Like, that's totally normal. Whereas other people might be like having to be around people all the time, but that's not me. So I guess people get to know you really well.
Yeah, and quickly, I'd imagine, especially.
Yeah, massively. So yeah, I had loads of different friends from different groups and stuff, but I'm very easygoing. Like I go with the flow. So I'm not necessarily like the one making all the plans or instigating the fun, but I'd be there and then get myself involved. And then when I had enough, I'd go off.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah. You only do what you want to do kind of thing and how you're feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, massively.
I think that's good, isn't it? Because you're not like easily led. A lot of people are probably easily led these days and just do stuff just because the people want to do it. And I think it's cool.
I'm not like a social climber. If I get on with someone, I get on with someone. It doesn't matter who they are, where they come from, what they enjoy doing. It's more of a personality thing for me. I'm not friends with popular girls just because they're popular, something like that. So yeah, I just pretty easygoing, and I think I'm quite approachable as well. And I think some of the more shy girls, it's really hard to be a real introvert at a school like that. So maybe those kind of girls would like find me quite approachable and come and chat with me and stuff, and go for walks and stuff like that.
So how did it work then at boarding school? Was it like Monday to Friday you were in like classes 9 to 3 or 4, whatever, and then you had like the evenings off to do whatever and the weekends off, or what was it?
So it was Monday to Saturday.
Oh, okay.
6 days a week. So we'd have, you get up about 7:30. I'd usually get up about 6 and go for a run before school because I was a weirdo.
Not a weirdo. Maybe at the time people thought you were a weirdo.
I think now that I'm a weirdo. Back then I was like, this is so cool. But now I'm thinking, why the hell did I do that? Going around the hill every morning before school. But character building and all that. Yeah. So yeah, you get up about 7:30. You go to like assembly at 8. Lessons would start at 8:30. You'd be in lessons until 6:30.
Really?
And then you'd go back to your house, have a bit of tea, and then you'd be in prep, which is like homework, I guess, 7 till 9. And then 9 o'clock is like bedtime, pretty much.
Really? That's pretty intense.
We'll do it all again. Saturdays were only like a quarter day. You do 3 lessons in the morning. So you'd be finished by like 11 o'clock. And then it'd be like match day. So rugby matches, hockey matches, running events, everything on a Saturday. So yeah, it was intense. But then we got really long holidays, which is fun.
Yeah, no. Because even we got longer holidays than like the normal schools, you know what I mean? But I'd imagine you got...
we got good holidays. But yeah, you couldn't really go home.
Yeah.
Sundays you had to go to church, so
really?
Yeah, do a bit of God bothering.
I suppose it's just like normal. Say for me, listen to that, I think, oh, but yeah, it's a bit intense. But for you, you're just not used to it.
Yeah, and when
he's in it, aren't you? Yeah,
and everyone around you is doing it. You don't really think twice. But yeah, I can imagine me thinking back to it now. I think, God, they were long days, But you just do it.
Yeah, just get on with it, don't you? Especially when you're that age, you just don't complain. You kind of just go with it.
You've got the energy of a bunny when you're that age. I'm thinking now, like, no way can I do that.
When you're 26, trust me, it goes downhill from there. So what was it? What did the teachers live in? Just that?
Yeah, so a few teachers would live like in the boarding house with you. So you basically have a house mistress and housemaster. So that's usually the house parent and their wife or husband.
Yeah.
So they obviously live in with their children, or if they have children. And then Sebba's like a little town, so most of the teachers live in the town or in Kendal round. So yeah, most of them live really close.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So moving through secondary school then, and then picking maybe like options for like GCSEs or whatever, what was kind of like the thought process there? Were you thinking of like a specific career you had in mind, or was it just like what you were kind of good at? Or
GCSEs was definitely just what I enjoyed and what I was good at. Yeah. I wasn't really pushed in any direction from like teachers or parents or anything like that. So yeah, GCSEs was an easy one really, looking back. It seems like years ago now.
Yeah, I know.
A-levels was a bit more chosen for a reason,
okay,
but also what I enjoyed.
Is that by you or by the school?
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did biology, psychology and PE for A-levels, which all tie in really well with each other, and all which I enjoyed a lot, to be fair. But they were more chosen for like sports science at uni.
What was maybe like the switch then from like choosing the GCSEs maybe when you're like 14, 15 to maybe when you were like 16 choosing them?
Yeah.
What made you decide you wanted to go on the sports sciencey route?
So obviously you get your GCSE results back and they speak volumes. My actual best GCSE, so I was a first year of numbers, and when everyone was trying to figure out like
numbers, how's that
what
like
a 7 was.
Yeah.
So a 7 is like an A.
Okay.
Is it? Yeah.
This is new to me.
A star, and then the 9 is the best you can get, and a 9 is like an A star star.
Okay.
So it's a bit odd. Anyway, we were all just doing like, oh, what's a 6? What's a 7?
It's good, I swear.
Yeah. I know. And then you think, well, everything's like a scale 1 to 10, isn't it? Apart from these, they didn't decide to do 1 to 10. So yeah, it was all a bit strange. Anyway, so my best GCSE was chemistry, which I absolutely hated.
Really?
Like I couldn't stand chemistry. But I hope my chemistry teacher doesn't watch this because she was a psycho. And no, she wasn't a psycho to be fair, but she just pushed us really hard. Yeah. And yeah, she was sort of saying a few days before our exams, like, you're not gonna do as well as you think you're gonna do. Like, you're not working hard enough, all of this. So we were like there in the evenings, like, let's do chemistry club. Like, none of us know what we're doing. So yeah, chemistry was my best GCSE. PE was really good as well. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I think you kind of go off that, what you've done well in. And then my A-levels, I didn't really think twice about them, to be honest. Psychology I didn't do as GCSE, but always really interested me. So that was a no-brainer. Biology was probably the only one that I thought, I'm probably not going to enjoy this as much, but I need to have 3. And yeah, it was a bit of it tied in really well with the other ones. So they were all, the like syllabuses were quite the same.
Okay. So what was like, why did you want to do the sports science then? After, why did you pick them then, would you say?
Yeah. So with the sports science, you like looking at what the entry requirements were, you had to have 2 sciences as an A-level. So psychology, PE and biology actually all classed as sciences. Okay. So I could have done something else like English or maths or something like that if I was crazy. But no, those 3 were just my top 3 really. Sports science always interested me. I loved sport. I still do. I did a lot when I was at school. I really sort of like pushed that side of things when I was there. I got a scholarship which involved sport as well, so I kind of had to prove myself throughout my journey there. And I was just really interested in the way the body works, nutrition, all of that sort of stuff. I always thought I wanted to work with athletes as well. So sports science was just like the natural avenue to go down.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because when I was younger, I was thinking about being a personal trainer, but that's only because like I was watching YouTube. Yeah. I was like fitness and stuff.
I feel like everyone goes through a phase and wants to be a personal trainer.
Everyone, literally everyone I speak to does. Yeah, cool. So then, obviously when you got your A-levels and then university. So university, what were your options then? Where did you want to go?
So you have to pick, I think you have to have 5 options.
Yeah, I had 5
back in the day.
Mine were Cardiff and Birmingham, they were my first 2.
Yeah, mine were Bath and Exeter. Loughborough was on there as well, and Durham. And I went to look around all of them apart from Exeter. But Bath, basically,
what appealed to you
that year? To be honest, when I went down there, it's such a beautiful city.
It is, it
is gorgeous. And I thought that I wanted a campus uni at the time because of my personality. I thought it'd be really good to sort of have university as like a campus and your own little safe space, and then town is like where you go and have fun. You know, having a different connection to different places is really important. So I did. Yeah, I went down to Bath. Absolutely loved it. That year, I actually ran at the English Schools National Championships down in, I think it was in Birmingham.
That was going to be a fun pack, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know, but it's not very fun. But, yeah, so I went down there that year, and my athletics coach at the time, he actually went to Bath University, and his coach was still coaching there, and his coach was at the English Schools National Championships, and he basically came up to my coach and said, who's this girl? Like, is she interested in going to Bath University? She'd be on the development programme, all of that sort of stuff. So that sort of pricked my ears up and thought, actually, maybe Bath would be really good to carry on my athletics and stuff, because I was never super confident as an athlete and confident in my own ability, because I did a lot of different events throughout my school career. So I never really specialised in one thing. And I actually ran at nationals in the 400 metre hurdles. Didn't do very well. But I was like, there, representing Cumbria. Yeah, that's taking one for the team.
It's still an achievement.
But no, it was good. Yeah, and I got a bit of, I literally been only doing it for 1 season. So I did a big fell race back at school, and my athletics coach in the winter, and my athletics coach was like, right, this season through the summer, you just, have a bit of fun. Don't push yourself too hard. Because what you'd usually do is you'd go and do the cross country and fell season. And then sort of March, April time, you'd like smash the gym and get fit for the track. Yeah. And he was just like, you just chill out and we'll do something fun. And he was a 400 metre hurdler. And he said, I've always wanted to train a 400 metre hurdler. Like, do you fancy giving it a go? And I was like, well, what could go wrong? So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go, just having a bit of fun. And then I ended up being like not horrendous at it. So we sort of pushed that, went to nationals, met the coach, and it sort of just went from there. And then when I went for like a look around at the uni, he got a few athletes to take me around, like current athletes at the uni, to take me around like all of the facilities and stuff. So that was really cool. So then I thought, my heart's set on Bath. Yeah. And that was before like any of my results came through. But yeah, my results were a bit crazy as well, because I was the first COVID year. So I actually never did my exams.
Really?
Yeah.
All on coursework then?
No, it was on...
Or predicted grades?
It was on predicted grades at the end, but it was on like teacher assessment grades to begin with.
What
So
does
your
that even mean?
teachers, honestly, I don't think the government even know what that
Oh,
means.
yeah. They're all right. Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, your teacher has to like put you grades down, and then it's based on how well your school did like in the previous years and stuff.
Oh, really?
So they basically, if your teachers basically just give you all A's and A stars, and the government's like, well, that's not, or AQA or whoever deals with it, it's like, well, that's not right because last year everyone did shit. So your students this year can't be that good. But anyway, they did that, and then there was a massive uproar with people didn't get the right grades and stuff. So then they did predicted grades after that, which is fine because in my mocks I actually got my predicted grades. So I felt like I kind of deserved them. But yeah, for someone like me, I actually quite like exams. Not like them, but there's a sense of achievement, isn't there, when you get the grade and you've done the work. Yeah. Whereas when you just get given your grades, it's like, did I really get them? Yeah. Like, did I deserve them? It's a hard concept it's a hard pill to swallow, but I got over it.
Yeah. So what was it like then moving to uni then in the first?
Yeah, so obviously it was a big move. I've been in my little bubble in the Lake District for ages, and I didn't think that moving away from home would be an issue because obviously I moved away when I was like 9, and I've been away from home ever since. I've never been at home for more than 6 weeks at a time since I was 9 years old. So I didn't think that going down to uni would be an issue, but I was actually surprisingly like, I don't know if homesick's the right word, but it made me realise that I am quite a home person. Yeah. And not having the option of your parents coming to see you at a weekend and stuff. I mean, there is an option there, but they were like, you're at uni now, you're a big girl, go do it yourself. I was like, oh. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't mind it. I mean, in COVID, it was really tricky. I was in a flat of 6 people and you could only socialise with your flat.
Oh, what
and
did you get on with
literally
them?
got like wristbands. And if you found someone with different colour wristbands, you get like fined and all sorts. It was crazy. Like it was really strict. So it kind of felt like prison a bit. And no, I didn't really get on with my flat. I think they tried to put like similar people with similar degrees. So I was with all like the sciencey nerds, which is fine. But they weren't, I mean, one girl I really got on with well. One girl was like nocturnal. She didn't come out in the daytime. And then there was 3 boys who were like gamers. And then one guy literally would just play his electric guitar for like 7 hours a day, and he was right next to me, and I swear to God, I've never been so bored of hearing the same chords over and over again.
Was he any good?
No, he wasn't even good. I wouldn't have minded if he was playing songs I knew I could sing along to myself in my bedroom, but yeah, it wasn't great. So I think that made a massive difference as well.
Yeah, because I remember the first time, obviously I didn't do boarding school, but the first time I went to Cardiff, which that was the first one I went to, and I looked at other ones, and I went back, and I was like, yeah, that's the one for me. And one of the reasons was move as far away from home as possible.
Yeah, me too, because I thought I've been in this bubble for too long now, and I've been safe for too long. I need to get away. And for me, I'm not a very city person, so I thought Bath is a good like starter city. Yeah, it's nice and it's pretty and it's got lots of greenery, which is what I like, but also it's a bit more hustle and bustle than Penrith and Carlisle. Yeah, but I was the same. I was like, I need to move away as far as possible and like start a life and be independent. Yeah,
because I think that's one thing, isn't it? When you're 18, you think you know what life's about, but you don't have a clue.
No way. I actually knew that I didn't know as well. I was like, I need to know.
I thought I knew. And I remember my dad dropping me off and leaving me in my little apartment, my little bedroom, whatever. Yeah. And I was like, what do I do now? Just sat there, just like...
It's like, make sure you've got like a sweetie tin at your door so you can make loads of friends. I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Yeah. Anyone who walked past, I was like, do you want a Lindor? Come be my friend.
But I think, obviously for me, it was different because I had like a normal uni experience. I could go fresh and socialise with whoever.
Yeah,
but for you,
freshers.
It would be so, like, I feel sorry for you. It was so difficult.
It was difficult. But, you know, it just happens how it happens. And actually... I think everything happens for a reason, and I don't regret going to uni at all. Even though I didn't enjoy it and I was unhappy, I learned so much about myself, and I learned who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. So actually, it probably was a blessing in disguise. Yeah. And I think it's important for someone to go through like a bit of a hard stage in their life like that. Like I had it pretty plain sailing. Like I was a good student. I got good grades. I loved school. I threw myself into everything. Like I probably had it really easy when I was younger. So actually... sort of having a bit of a rock thrown at you and learning how to catch it, like you're okay.
Yeah, it helps you grow as a person,
absolutely,
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you were saying, touching upon, it's like life experience, isn't it? So if you just do the same thing over and over again, you don't know what's good and what's bad.
You get very comfortable as well. I was very comfortable. And also from the athletic side, like I was going from the top of the pile, like the best at what I did in my school, to right down at the bottom. And that is like a...
Dent your ego.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, God, all these people are so much faster than me. What am I supposed to do now? And because I wasn't that confident anyway, it did probably have more of an effect on me than I thought at the time. And it was quite hard. I mean, they were all older than me and they'd been there for years, but still, it's tricky going from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then how did the sushi come about then throughout uni?
Yeah, so I came home in maybe November time. So I was only at uni for maybe like a month and a bit, maybe 7, 8 weeks. So then I came home, got settled back in at home, started carrying on with uni. And then my mum, we do like a family secret Santa. I've literally told this story so many times and everyone like can't believe it, but we did a family secret Santa and mum got me and she bought me a sushi making kit because I really like sushi and there's no sushi around here. And she was like, well, make your own. And I was like, great. So she got me a sushi making kit, like £15 from Amazon. And on New Year's Eve, I thought I'll make sushi for everyone. And then made it. Looking back, it was really shit, but I thought it was good at the time. I've got pictures of it and it like flashed up on my memories the other day and I was like, oh God, we actually ate that. But yeah, I made it. And like after a few glasses of champagne, like me and my dad were having a chat and I was like, maybe I should start selling it, sell the business. Joking. And then a couple of weeks later, I got in contact with a branding girl, Evangeline, who lives in Shap. And said, like, will you do a bit of branding for me? Like, this is an idea that I've got. I just want to sort of see it on paper, see what I think about it. Yeah. And then got my branding done, spoke to some fishmongers, got a few bits and bobs from Amazon, and just watched a YouTube video and went for it. Literally watched a YouTube video. I was like, did you go to sushi school? I was like, I don't even know if that's a thing.
Like, I
just watched some Japanese video online and was like, how hard can it be?
And then just kind of like spiral from there.
So within a month, I had over 1,000 followers on Instagram. I think the time that I did it was perfect. Everyone was wanting to support local businesses. Everyone had a bit of money to throw about because no one was spending money on anything. I was delivering and like it meant that no one had to travel for anything. And if they had COVID, I could still deliver to them and drop it on their doorstep. Something a bit different, something a bit exciting. You wouldn't believe how many people I went to and the mum would open the door and be like, thank God I don't have to cook for the kids tonight. Like they were so happy. So yeah, I think I just hit the nail on the head timing wise. And obviously it's trendy and everyone's wanting to like hop on trends at the moment. So I had a lot of clients who were customers, I should say, who were like between the ages of 16 and 30 who were like putting it all over socials, like look what I've got,
showing off. That's
like,
what you want though, free marketing.
Absolutely. I was like, great. So I think probably social media was my best friend at the time, and it just sort of happened like that.
What made you want to start like the business or the idea? Because obviously like you could have just made the sushi for your friends and your family, whatever, but then what did you think, or why was the reason that you wanted to sell it or do it to other people?
Such a good question. I actually don't know. I've thought about this loads. I don't really know what was going through my head. I wanted to earn a bit of money. And I didn't want to work in Sainsbury's because that's what everyone was doing at the time. And I actually did that for a while and it was fine, but I didn't want to go back there. So I thought, all right, how can I earn a bit of money? I enjoy cooking. I enjoy food. I really am very interested in nutrition. I actually have a nutrition qualification. So I guess my actual initial idea was I was only ever going to sell it to family and friends. And they, you know how your friends are like, oh, it's a great idea. Like, we'll buy it from you. And they support you for a couple of months. And they're like, right, we're sick of sushi now. Like, you can go away. I thought that's what was going to happen. But yeah, I sold it to a few friends and then their friends started buying it. And then their mum's friends and their mum's mum's friends. And then that's just how it happened. So I think I never thought it would be as big as it was. And when I actually set it up, I thought I'll just do this through summer before I go back to uni. Like I was still doing uni at the time. I was going back to my second year in September. So I started up in January thinking I'll do this for while I'm at home, just as something to do.
Keep you busy.
And then go back to uni and that's it. So yeah, I did not think it was going to blow up like it did.
Would you just say like it just felt like the right thing to do at the time?
Yeah, I think so. I think
there's no real thought process that went into it. It was just like, just kind of, oh, I'm just going to do this. And just whatever.
Yeah, I thought I nearly didn't do it. I got my branding done and I was thinking, maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe I don't have time for it. Maybe it's going to go nowhere. You know, maybe like this is a stupid idea.
You always have that in your head, don't you?
Maybe
The
people are
doubt.
going to think I'm crazy, like all of this. And also I was thinking, there's no sushi around here. Is that for a reason? Like, do people not like sushi? Why has no one thought of this before now? I honestly didn't think there was going to be the demand for it. Especially around here. Every other person's a farmer who likes their pub grub. Like, they're not going to want sushi of an evening. So I think, I nearly didn't do it, but I'm glad I did, obviously.
Yeah, and I think it's important for everyone. Lots of people have everyone's got great ideas, haven't they? Everyone's got great ideas.
Yeah.
People always say to me, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. But it's a different thing if you actually do it and try it. And if you do it and try it and it works, great. But if you do it, try it and it doesn't work, you can use that as like a lesson. There's no point having a great idea and just thinking, oh yeah, I could do this easy, no problem.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
My mum always says the biggest mistake you make is someone you don't learn from, which is so true. So yeah, I don't have any regrets really.
Yeah, and that's one thing my mum and dad always say, you only regret the things you don't do.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the back of my mind, I would have always thought, oh, what if I'd done that?
Exactly.
What could have happened?
Yeah.
What could be? I try to not let that happen in my life, like all of these what ifs. You know, I think if you just throw yourself into everything, you can't go far wrong. And if you do go wrong, well, it probably leads you somewhere else anyway.
Yeah.
Give that a crack and see what happens.
It's life experience, isn't it? You learn from it.
Yeah, massively.
So where did it kind of go then from obviously the first initial month where you got 1,000 followers and started generating business?
So then I thought,
oh, I'm making a bit of money from this.
Making a bit of money. This is fun.
Where could this go? What can I do next?
Yeah. And then, so.
And how old were you at this time? 18, 19?
I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking, oh, this is quite good. I'm quite liking this. This guy approached me, George Thwaites, who owns Gourmet to Go. And he was like, look, I'm developing this app. It's all to do with sort of gourmet businesses, gourmet food businesses, local, sort of like Deliveroo, but a bit more fancy, you might say. A bit more sort of tailored to higher end like customers.
Yeah.
And he was like, do you want to come on, jump onto my app and we'll develop our businesses together? And I thought, absolutely, because one thing that I was struggling with was I was spending so much time talking to people over social media and trying to formulate an order with them because they didn't understand the menu, or they didn't really know what I wanted, or they weren't really sure like what everything was. So you go back and forth in conversation before you even get an order out of them. And then you go, oh, do you want collection or delivery? And it's a long time. And that was with lots and lots of people every week. So that was costing me, I mean, time is money. So that was costing me a lot just talking to people over social media. So that was what the app did. They'd take all your orders, everything would come through to you, and then you'd just deliver it or they'd come and collect it. And that was the whole thing eliminated. So I actually spent a lot more time making sushi and making money than talking to people over social media.
A lot of people don't take that into consideration, do they? Say if they're messaging you through Instagram, they're thinking, oh, I'm just having this conversation.
Honestly.
It'll just be 5 minutes, but the 5 minutes turns to 10 minutes, and then you've got multiple people doing it, and then you spend hours a day that, like you say, you're not making any money. You just pointless conversation.
And I was on my phone all the time, and I hate that. I can't stand, like, I don't want to be that person who's on their phone all the time. No. So that really didn't sit well with me. So yeah, that was a blessing as well, actually, that came along. So yeah, from there, I just carried on doing everything. Did a few sort of restaurant pop-up nights, got in contact with a few different people, got in the Herald, got in a few newspapers, my claim to fame. And yeah, and then that was basically it. And then in September last year, I got a bit to burnout stage, and I was like, I've got no social life. I was in the kitchen every Friday and Saturday for like 10 hours, and then I go out delivering, and my friends are like, Alex, where are you? We're going out. Where are you? I'm not here. I'm making sushi. Sorry. So that was me for nearly a year. And then in September, I thought, right, something needs to change. I actually got back in contact with Bath Uni and said, I dropped out last year. Can I come back? Can I come back and do a sports massage course?
Why did you drop out then? Was it just you saw the sushi as a long-term thing?
Yeah. So I suppose it was April time, just before my first maths exam. And it's been in the back of my mind for a while by that point. And I just thought, it was basically just going down my priority list, and I wasn't enjoying it. And I thought, I've got a business now, and if I don't take it and run with it, I'm going to regret it for the rest of my life. Yeah. And you can go back to uni anytime now. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to leave that. I'm just going to leave that where it is and carry on with the sushi. and see what happens. So I took my mum up for a walk on the fell and I said, Mum, this is what I'm going to do. And she was like, happy days, as long as you're happy.
And you're not pregnant or something.
Yeah, she was like, what is she going to tell me here?
Could have been a lot worse, yeah.
I was like, Mum, we need to go for a chat. She's like, oh God, what now?
A million things going through her head.
Yeah, she probably had such a relief when I told her that.
So you just told her, and then you dropped out in April?
Yeah, April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went back to Bath. You contact them back.
So from April to September, did sushi 3 days a week. And then around it was probably like June, July time, I'd seen this sports massage course advertised, and I thought that actually is right up my street. I was still obviously interested in all the things I used to be interested in, like the sport, working with athletes, all of that sort of stuff. But sports science at uni just wasn't the one. So also I was thinking, God, I don't want to be making sushi for the rest of my life. Like this was just a little idea that I had that I didn't think would go anywhere. And now I'm like hands deep in sushi rice every day. Like what's going on? So I thought, right, I need to do something different. And also intellectually, like my mind was not getting worked. Stimulated
at all, no, yeah.
And like I was going a bit crazy. And I also had a bit itchy feet about being home because I hadn't been home since I was 9. And now I was home for 2 years. I'm thinking, I don't want to be at home. This is a bit strange for me. Like this is a bit uncharted territory. So I thought, right, I'm going to get back to uni, do this course. So that was 6 weeks, very intense. And then I had a placement with Bath Rugby down there, which was really good, and a placement with the clinic in the uni. So I worked with a lot of athletes before I actually came back home and started work here. But yeah, so then I basically set up that business and started pushing that more than the sushi. I've sort of put sushi to a side for a bit. So I cracked on with that. And then now I do like 4 days a week massage, 1 day a week sushi. So yeah, I've got a good balance now. Yeah. Now I'm happy.
That's cool, yeah. So what was it like going back to Bath Uni then after obviously dropping?
It was a very different experience. So I was actually living with my friends that I made in first year. They had a house in the city. Yeah. So I was actually living in the city for the time that I was there. And most of them weren't actually there yet because it was sort of before their term started at the uni. So I was sort of in the house on my own, which I didn't mind at all. Yeah. But yeah, I went back there, had a lovely walk up to uni every morning. It was very different, very different. And actually knowing that it was temporary sat quite well with me. You know? I think when you go and you think, right, this is my life for 3 years, that's quite daunting.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I was absolutely fine.
That's cool. And then obviously setting up back home. How's that gone so far then?
Really good. Again, I wasn't sure the demand was there for it. I didn't really know any sports massage therapists around here. But equally, I was thinking, well, there's maybe a gap in the market if there aren't many. So I was lucky enough to get a job, 2 jobs straight away, which is pretty much unheard of for like newly qualified massage therapists. You usually sort of go freelance for a long time, going around different people's houses and doing it that way. But obviously around here, no one's in close contact, like connection with everyone. You've got to drive for miles before you, especially from here. I live in the middle of nowhere, so I have to drive for miles to get anywhere. So I was thinking, I'm going to make no money that way. So the health barn up the road, I used to go there for treatment a lot when I was doing a lot of running. So I sort of dipped my toes in there, and she said, absolutely, there's a room here when you qualify. So I went there, and then one of my good friends, Polly Annabelle, she owns the Girl House in Penrith, and she said, we'd love you to work here as well. So I basically had a couple of meetings with both of those and got jobs there straight away, which I was so lucky, really thankful for.
That's really cool then. So what's the kind of plans for that then moving forward, would you say?
I've given up making plans because my life has taken a complete like U-turn in terms of the plan that I had for it. So I'm very much just see how it goes and ride the wave for a bit at the moment. I'm really happy where I am, and my businesses are both doing really well. The massage, I'm sort of getting new clients every week, and that's still growing. So hopefully it'll just keep growing. But yeah, I don't really have any plans for the future. I'm just going to see how it goes. Yeah,
that's the exciting thing, I think, isn't it? Just kind of, like you say, riding the wave.
If you don't have a plan, nothing can go wrong.
That's true. It's true. And then how would you say the massage stuff differs from the sushi then, out of the businesses? Because obviously you're 20. Yeah. You've had 2 businesses. Obviously, one's food.
They're very, very different. With the sports massage, going back to the question you asked me like at the beginning, how do you find it, like people taking you seriously and stuff, like being quite young? I thought that'd be an issue, being a sports massage therapist, because at the end of the day, people are trusting me with their injuries, their bodies, everything. It's quite, it's quite a lot of, not pressure, but you've got to be really careful and you can do a bit of damage if you do anything wrong. So you have to have a lot of trust with your clients. Communication skills are so important. I mean, in all walks of life, but with my sushi, I didn't really talk to anyone, so that didn't matter. Just me and the rice rolls. So yeah, but with the massage, just being, it taught me to be very professional, and also working at the health barn, I work alongside a lot of other practitioners. So learning and absorbing their sort of professionalism and their energy as well made me into the therapist that I am. But yeah, I think communication is probably the biggest thing in that job.
Yeah, communication in life in general, isn't it, really? Building relationships with people. So you were saying earlier off the podcast, weren't you, about word of mouth and stuff like that, especially around here. It's important you do a good job every single time.
Massively, You can't be off your game, because if someone catches word about you not being good at your job around here, it's around like wildfire. You can make a bad reputation a lot quicker than you make a good one around here, for sure.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it only takes like one slip up, doesn't
massively.
it? If you've built up something over a couple of years and you mess it once, and then it's gone literally like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Being like cancelled on social media and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So for 20 years old to have two businesses, what would you say to somebody, maybe even like a young girl, what like kind of advice would you give to them, would you say, if they were ever considering doing their own little venture or something like that?
Yeah, I would say...
I think there's a lot of pressure on girls, especially on social media and stuff like that, and some of them might be a bit cautious or wary to put themselves out there and maybe fail. I think there's definitely social media.
Fear of failure.
You only show the best bits, don't you? Like you only show yourself on holiday or having a great time, but nobody ever shows like the hard work that goes on behind the scenes, like in the kitchen for 10 hours, 3 days a week, whatever you were saying earlier, and stuff like that. So what would you kind of say to those kind of people?
Yeah, I agree with that as well, because when I started doing well, everyone was like, oh, look at you, like
easy,
you've got a bit of money, like you go girl. And I was like, yeah, but I work hard for it.
Nobody sees that though, do they?
Yeah, like I do have a bit of money, don't get me wrong, but like you don't see the hard work that goes into it. So yeah, I do agree with that. But I think it's so easy to say don't care what people think, because everyone cares what people think. But I got to the stage where I was quite confident in myself and I was quite happy with who I was. And I think you have to figure out who you want to be, and not who you want to be necessarily, but who you are at the time. And you really need to like know yourself really well to be able to put yourself out there and try something new, because it is hard, and it's hard promoting yourself on social media for sure. But I think as long as I think the main thing is having a good support network. Make sure that your friends are your real friends and they will support you, because people are backstabbers, and you'll find that in all walks of life. So as long as you're a decent judge of character, I don't think you can go too wrong in that aspect. But knowing that you have people behind you is really important. I think obviously if you're going to set up a business, you need to have the money to do so. And I was lucky enough that I'd worked really hard the summer before, and I'd never had any financial help setting up either of the businesses. But either have the money yourself or know that someone's going to help you out. Yeah, I think support network is probably the biggest advice I could give.
I think support network is important, isn't it?
Very, very important.
Another thing you touched upon there was like being yourself as well. Don't try and be somebody that you're not.
Massively, yeah.
People will find out sooner rather than later if you're trying to be this other version of yourself and you're not being authentic.
And be honest with yourself. Everyone has bad days. Everyone has good days and bad days. And actually, your real friends are there who are like hyping you up on your good days, even if they're having a bad day. They're hyping you up on your good days, and then they're for you on your bad days.
And they'll still be a friend no matter what. They don't really care what you do at the end of the day, do they?
Absolutely.
And that kind of thing. Cool.
Absolutely.
So we're on to everyone's favourite part, which is relationship advice questions. I just need to get them up here. I know you're looking forward to this the most. Let me just find on my notes.
I have no idea what these questions are going to be.
Right, okay. So what we do is... So I'll say if it's a boy or girl. We anonymously name them.
Okay.
And then I'll read out the question, and then you can give your opinion.
Okay.
So people's relationships and lives are dependent on this. So.
No pressure.
So this is a boy. So what are we calling him? Bob, right, Bob. I don't know why you messaged in, but here we go. So Bob says, me and my girlfriend having lots of disagreements at the moment. It's over little petty things like around the house, like washing up, cleaning, doing the ironing. These are just like getting on my nerves. What do I do about this?
Okay, so I think it's the communication error.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not communicating enough with each other. I'm guessing by the sounds of it, they live together. So maybe
I don't know how old they are, but
maybe they need to just like take a step back, go and socialize elsewhere for a little bit, get out the house. But I think communicate is the biggest thing. They maybe need to have a sit down and a chat.
And if
just,
arguing over washing and stuff, it's not that deep, is it really?
But also, there's obviously something else behind it. It's not actually about the washing, is it? So they maybe the ironing. I mean, it's not that stressful. Sorry, Bob. That's what I mean. But yeah, I think probably just sit down with each other, have a real adult conversation, and just air your feelings and communicate what's happening at the moment and what's actually annoying you. Yeah.
And it's probably not the ironing.
No, I don't think it's the ironing. I don't think the ironing is a problem.
Okay, Bob, there you go. Right, this is a girl, the next one.
Yeah.
What are we saying? What's her name?
Oh.
Putting the pressure here, the name.
A name for a girl. Patricia.
Patricia's messaged in. So she says she's been living with her boyfriend. Well, she's been with her boyfriend for 3 years, but she's living together for 2 years. Okay. She feels like they're growing apart and they're just more like friends now. They don't really have that romantic connection or spark anymore. Can Patricia fix this, or do you think it's going to be over? A sticky one, isn't it?
This is a hard one. Yeah.
They've got
I think they need to start, they need to start doing like date night again. Yeah. I think they need to start like putting themselves into a romantic setting and seeing what happens.
Out the house.
Yeah, massively, because it's easy when you're slouching around in your PJs and like watching movies. I mean, friends do that, so that's no different. But yeah, I think they need to start like putting themselves in romantic settings, getting like dressed up for each other, you know. I mean, like as in going out, not like otherwise. Well, but you know, that might work. But yeah, so I think probably like putting themselves out there into a romantic setting and seeing if there's a spark still there.
She can fix it or not?
Yeah, I think she can fix it.
Reckon?
I hope so.
3 years
she needs to have
in.
a chat with him as well, because obviously
communication again.
Yeah, communication is honestly like the thing in relationships. Absolutely.
Rather than just avoiding all the situations.
Yeah, because he might feel completely different, and he might not have no idea that Patricia is feeling this way. So.
There you go, Patricia.
She needs to just sit down and have a chat
and dress up, apparently.
And dress up.
Right, so last one. So this is the boy. What are we calling him? So with Bob, we have Patricia. No last name.
Bill.
Right. Bob and
Bill. I don't know what it is about that. My car's called Bertie as well. I have a thing for bees.
I have no idea who's called Bill these days anyway.
No, I don't know Bill. I'm trying to think of names
definitely anonymous.
I don't know.
It's definitely anonymous.
You can't like name them your friends. Like, you can't do that to your friends.
Let's say message in. So Bill says he really likes his girl, but she lives down south in London and he lives up in Aberdeen in Scotland. Ooh. The distance is a massive thing and he doesn't know how he can progress with things, as he wants to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't know how they've met, because obviously they live completely opposite, which is probably about 10 hours.
That is really a long way as well.
Unless they've got like Tinder on like maximum radius or something like that. Or they've met on holiday. Yeah. God knows why.
Or like mutual friends or something, I don't know. Or maybe they were like uni together.
Yeah, potentially uni.
Like, yeah.
But we need more info on this. So.
Yeah, Bill's in a sticky one.
Basically, he wants to progress and make you boyfriend and girlfriend, but obviously the distance is a massive thing.
Yeah, that is a massive thing. I mean, me and my boyfriend live 2 hours away from each other, which is like hard enough.
That's not too
It's not too bad, but we're both really busy as well. It's not bad, it's not an issue. But you know, when you come home from work and you just want to cuddle and you're like, this is really shit. It's like one of those. It's really not an issue, but like a Bill's in a bit more of a tricky one. Like that's probably what, 7-8 hours.
You could go somewhere pretty exotic on a flight in that time, couldn't you? Yeah. And through security as well.
I mean, Bill's better off flying to her, like from there. I don't know if there's an airport in Aberdeen, but anyway, I think it's really hard. It depends what they do as jobs as well. Like, it's kind of a more info situation.
And you can't really be spontaneous either, can you? It's very structured.
Planning, like very structured.
Like, oh yeah, I'll come and see you in 3 weeks' time. You can come see me in 3 weeks' time.
It depends how busy you both are, and also it depends how much you're willing to put the work in. I mean, it can work. People make it work, but if it's more one-sided than the other, then it's never going to work. No. It has to be equal, 50-50.
Yeah. So what you're saying to Bill then?
I'd say, Bill, get yourself down to London. Get out of
Aberdeen. I was going to move to Aberdeen for a job when I finished uni. Yeah. But I was like, it's too far for me.
But yeah, I think he needs to get down south, go see her for a good chunk of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, go from there. Also, like, what ages are they? Where
we don't have this info.
So it is tricky. Sorry, Bill, that's probably not really helpful at all. But
there you go anyway. Yeah. Right. That's pretty much it over. Last thing, I think, just like any closing thoughts, anything you want to say to anyone who might be watching or listening that you've talked about. Hopefully you've talked about stuff that you maybe not have talked about or thought about before.
Yeah. A few different avenues. But I think mainly points to take away would be just go for it. If you have a thought in your mind and you think, actually, I might regret this if I don't sort of pick it up and run with it, then I think just go for it. Back yourself. Make sure you've got a good support network and make sure you're happy. I think happiness comes before anything. If you're not happy, you won't be at your top of your game. So yeah, make sure you're happy first. Make sure you know what makes you happy and keep doing that.
I'll clip that. That was good. So any social media you want to plug? Do you want to plug the massage and the sushi?
Oh, this is my time to plug. Unreal. So yeah, my Instagram, if you want to follow me for some like little sushi pics, is alex.serves.sushi. I think it has 2 eyes. I'm not really sure why I did that, but I thought that was cool at the time as well. And my massage is AD_sports massage. So yeah, if anyone's got any creaky backs going on.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So thank you very much for being on.
Thank you for
honestly
having me.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was fun.
It's mad that you're only 20. You seem.
I was so nervous when I sat down here. I was sweating. Like the doors open. You guys can't see this, but the kitchen doors open. I was like, I'm so scared.
I was as well. I just changed the t-shirt to be fair. But yeah, everyone, thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, your favourite part. Nobody ever comments, but yeah, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, make sure to follow and leave a 5-star review. And we'll see you next time. Bye.